Hello guys, welcome to Matt About Outdoors. So today I'm going to talk to you about cheap fire steel versus expensive fire steel. So I've got a £4 caramel branded thing from Sports Direct. I've also got the Lightman Fire Military Swedish fire steel, which is a bit thicker than your average one. It's supposed to last a lot longer. So I've just come to Burwell's Cave just so I can have a little bit of shade and demo the fire steels to improve that it's not necessarily the actual fire steel, it's the striker that you're using. A lot of cheap fire steels tend to come with a bit of hacksaw blade, which is no good to man or beast. It really is terrible. You won't get any sparks, you won't get any results, you'll be disappointed. So I've got the caramel striker, which actually does a reasonable job. I've also got the Lightman Fire striker, which does a superb job. I've got the camera set for 240 frames a second, so we can see that in slow-mo. I'll do a few sparks from each just to demo the two and prove that you don't need to spend a massive amount. Whilst we're here quickly, a nice little turn up for the books. I just found a massive patch of wild garlic. You can tell it's wild garlic because of the smell. It's one of the easiest to identify plants that you can forage for. So it's best to find it sort of February, where we are now, we're on sort of beginning of March. Ideally you want to start harvesting this stuff before all the buds open up and you end up with the white flowers, which are edible. You'll find the leaves are a little bit more astringent, they won't taste as good. So if you're unsure, just rub it between your fingers. You'll be able to sniff test, and it's going to have a real oniony, garlicky smell to it, and it actually tastes fantastic. Obviously I'd advocate washing it before you eat it, but yeah, nonetheless, very tasty. So we're just going to head off over there. I'll get you set up and we'll have a look at the fire steels. See you in a minute. Just quickly, for those of you that don't know where Burwell's Cave is, I did give you some GPS coordinates in my last video at Burwell's Cave, but just relative to the road, you can see just down there the cars driving on. That's the portway. Over there, that's the right hand side of the Clifton Suspension Bridge, and this is where we are relative to it. That's the left side tower. So this is where you are. It's got a lot easier to find since they've cut down a lot of trees. They've definitely made it easier to get to. So yeah, if you fancy a little venture out, this is a place to come and have a look. You can see just in there, you can drop down into the main cave itself. I wouldn't advise that because it's going to hurt. You can just go down these steps. Right, let's see if anyone's home. If nobody's home, happy days, we'll set the camera up. If not, we might have to move on. As you can see, the gate's been left off. However, that has meant people have been coming in, myself included, but as you can see, someone's just been in graffitied all over the rocks. You even have to have a paint can behind. And you've got some names there: Jacob, Aisha, Bad Boom, Masso, I don't know. But yeah, they've come down and they've trashed it, which is a real shame. This is a beautiful place to come. There's a real hidden gem. Alright then, let's get you set up and tripod and have a look at these fire steels. Okay, so these are the ones I've brought with me today. You've got a Lightman Fire Military fire steel. It's the military one because it's thicker, you get more strikes out of it. I've also got the one that I tend to use the most often. This is a cheap caramel branded fire steel I picked up from Sports Direct. As you can see, it's been reasonably well used. So £4, £15-ish. What's the differences? So to be honest, I think I got a good one with the cheap one. Sometimes you get some fire steels and they're so hard you can never strike a spark from them. So in terms of strikers then, this is the caramel one. You've got this notched edge down there, which a lot of people would think, yeah, it's not going to do an awful lot, that is it. Other people would think you'd use, you can use that. Again, reasonable results. What you can actually use, which I found to be the most effective, is there's about an inch of this part of the scraper that's actually burred, so it's sharpened. Again, I'll show you these with the 240 frames a second, so we should get a bit of slow-mo with that. Yeah, it's been pretty good considering you paid next to nothing for it. So I went for the Lightman Fire Steel one for comparison. As you can see, if you have a really good look along there, you can see we've got some almost like pock marks on it. That's from where it was stored with a box of matches. This is what happens to fire steels if you store them anywhere near matches. It just starts corroding and eating into the metal of it. I had to scrape quite a bit off to get rid of it. So don't store your fire steels with matches, the sulphur will eat into the metal. So the striker on the Light My Fire Steel one then, it's a little bit more elegant, I suppose. I found that I get better results with this striker. I'm trying to find a bit of fusion earlier. You can see it's a much brighter flash. Having said that, if I use the Light My Fire Steel scraper on this cheap fire steel, you get exactly the same effect, and that is all down to the striker. This striker is not fantastic. It does give off a small shower of sparks, but nowhere near the volume that you get with the Light My Fire Steel one. Huge shower of sparks. So yeah, it's not necessarily the steel, it's the scraper that you use, and I've said this time and time again. I just want to sort of demonstrate on the floor in a minute in the dark, and I'll give you a slow-mo demo. You can always improvise a scraper as well. It doesn't have to be a purpose-built scraper. Anything with a sharp burr of metal on it. This is a pair of tweezers that came with some stuff, and this is bearable. She didn't need them, I didn't need them, but I did notice it's got a sharp burr of metal on it. So if I just fold that back, I've told it like this, but there's a sharp burr on that, which we can use. Not very effectively, admittedly. In fact, not effective at all. Yeah, I'm getting one or two very small sparks off that. Again, crappy scraper. It could be used, not very effectively. So let's get you set up on the floor. I'll put the slow-mo on. There's no sound with the slow-mo. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that on my camera. But what I'll do is I'll demo each fire steel with its own scraper, and then what I'll do is I'll demonstrate I Light My Fire scraper, or scrapery thing, on both the steels, so you can see for direct comparison. Actually, they're reasonably similar in results. Let's get you set up. Okay, so hopefully you can see from those slow-mo videos what I was talking about in terms of your striker being decent. This one's not half bad actually. You do get that sharpened sort of inch portion just along there. You can use this V notch as well if you're not confident enough to use that. I've had much better results just using the sharp burr on the back of the edge. Like my fire steel scraper, however, I think performed better on the cheap steel, so I tested the cheap steel out with the cheap striker first, then I tested the Light My Fire out with the Light My Fire, and then finally the Light My Fire scraper with the cheap fire steel. This is where I had the best result actually, using the cheap fire steel with the Light My Fire scraper. So I think that's proof that you don't need to worry too much about how much you're spending on your fire steel. There's not an awful lot to go wrong. Yes, you'll find some that have got maybe softer compounds, different mixes in it and all the rest of it, and you will find some fire steels that are brick hard as well, but £4 or £5 from Go Outdoors for a Carrymore branded one, I don't think you can go wrong. So there's no need to spend mega bucks. Just make sure you've got a decent scraper to go along with your fire steel. And if you've got a really cheap fire steel, you'll find they come with a piece of hacksaw blades. It's usually about 3 inches long, it's been cut off at 45 degrees. Throw that in the bin straight away. You will be there for hours trying to get anything lit with that. It is an absolute nightmare. You will get hardly any sparks from it. It won't do its job properly, and you'll probably think there's something wrong with this, and you'll probably throw it in the bin. It's not, it's just your striker. So hope you find the little video useful. Lovely day for it at Burwell's Cave in Bristol. Again, just up there. That's beside the Clifton Suspension Bridge. So this is where Burwell's Cave is in relation to everything else. It's a shame somebody's come and vandalised it. The gate is still off its hinges at the moment, hence people have come in, sadly trashed it, but by all means do come down and have a quick look. The National Trust have designated a bat roost. It says do not enter without a bat licence, blah blah blah. To be honest, the amount of human traffic that's been coming through, I'd be very surprised if there's any bats at all. There we are. So I hope you found the video useful, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.